Huh?
Yes, sir.
Turn around. Right now. Hands behind your back. Don't move. You're under arrest. You're under arrest.
The officer in this video hit a $2 million bonanza when he came up upon a traffic stop because one of the drivers of the truck in the traffic stop made a huge mistake. Can you guess what that mistake is? Keep on watching until the end of the video.
Your truck? Friend's truck? Okay. You gotta get out. Stay out of that left lane out there, okay? You got CDL? Okay. You got CDL, sir?
Now, although the audio is not clear, it appears that the police officer is explaining to the driver that he was in the wrong lane. And that's why he got pulled over. What does that mean? Well, this occurred in Indiana, and if you look at the Indiana code, especially section 9-21-8-12, it states verbatim, except when passing a slower vehicle entering or leaving a highway, or where a special hazard exists that requires for safety reason the use of an alternate lane, a person may not operate a truck on an interstate highway in any lane except the far right lane. And as heard in the video, the cop was stating that the truck was in the left lane.
Hey, man. Anything illegal inside the truck? You're okay if I search it? Huh? You're okay if I search the truck and the trailer? You're okay with it? Why don't you go back there and hang out with him for a few minutes?
So I hope you listen to that exchange very carefully, because at the beginning of the video I talked about the huge mistake made by the truck driver that led to the $2 million bonanza. This was it here. If you didn't hear clearly, the police officer asked the driver, "Can I search your vehicle?" And the driver says, "Sure," and gesticulates so. Why is that significant? Because under the 4th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States, you cannot search a vehicle unless there is a legally justifiable reason for it. Now, if the police officer had, for example, seen something in plain view of the driver's console, for example, there are some people that may have a stick of bud in the vehicle, as it's colloquially called, and then the police officer will see that and is then justified in searching the vehicle. Or even if they saw a person holding a blicky, for example. However, if they can't see anything of that sort, they have to get your consent before they search, unless they've got dogs around the vicinity that smell anything inside the vehicle. But that was not the case in this instance. So he had to get the driver's consent, and the driver could have simply said, "No way at all, they do not consent to a search." And if a search is then conducted, it's very likely to be an illegal search. If it's an illegal search, that is something that will raise a possibility that the search is thrown out, no matter what the contents of the search finds. But they did not even need to go to that stage as far as legal theory is concerned, because the driver simply said, "Sure, no problem. You would like to search the truck? Be my guest."
Huh? Yes, sir. Turn around. Right now. Hands behind your back. Don't move. You're under arrest. You're under arrest. No se mueva. Manos arriba. Hey, chill. I don't know what's wrong. You tell me.
You tell me where you putting handcuffs on me.
I'll let you know here in just a minute. I'll get you back.
Will they make a call?
Yep. Manos arriba. Manos arriba.
You tight these on that?
They're not tight.
Look at this one.
I will adjust them here in a minute.
I'm not gonna do nothing.
Okay. la espalda. Manos en la espalda. Siéntese. Siéntese.
Just a little bit of the right.
It's not tight. I can put my finger in there. Just the way your hand is. There you go. Good? We'll adjust them when somebody else gets here.
You can put it on the
You're
front.
twisting your... Huh?
You can put it on the front.
When somebody else gets here. Okay?
Can I make it fast?
Yeah. I got somebody coming. You guys can get up off the ground here in just a minute. We'll adjust the cuffs, okay?
What is it?
So I got somebody else coming. I need to read you your rights. You have the right, before we ask you any questions, you must understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions, and to have him with you during questioning. If you can't afford a lawyer now, one will be appointed for you before any questioning if you wish. If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you still have the right to stop answering questions at any time. You also have the right to stop answering at any time until you talk to a lawyer. Do you understand your rights? And he's just yes or no. Yeah. Feel like weed in here, don't it?
Oh yeah.
Basically, these two boxes, it's right there. Well, we can bring those out. If you want to grab one, I'll grab the other.
Now, what this whole incident shows you is that unless a person is actually aware of their rights, they are going to find themselves in the wrong, more than likely. So, first of all, is the most important principle in interaction with law enforcement or anything that essentially has the power of law enforcement behind it, for example, an agency, something of that sort, which is the right to silence. The Fifth Amendment of the Constitution of the United States ensures people have the right to silence. They don't need to speak. Even if they're asked questions, even if they are interrogated, when there is a suspicion that they have committed a crime, you have the right to silence. In a traffic stop, more than likely, obviously, there are differences between states in things which you can and can't do, etc. But generally speaking, a person only has to provide their name and maybe their address as well. They don't need to go back and forth. What they certainly don't have to do is that they don't need to consent to searches. So you can simply say to an officer that there is no consent to your vehicle being searched, etc. And the officer can get a warrant. They may be legally justified if there is an item in plain view which allows them to search the vehicle, but you don't need to engage in that verbally. You can simply state from your opinion, whether you want it to be searched or not. And because it appears that these two individuals did not know their rights, they have now gotten themselves into a sticky situation, because after the search was conducted, the officer hit a $2 million bonanza by finding white powdery substances, and I'm sure you know exactly what they are, finding them wrapped in a box inside the truck. And if one or both of those two individuals are convicted for what the officer found, they may find themselves going away for decades, given the value of those substances, which was reported to be $2 million or more. And this goes back to the main point, which is ignorance of the law can lead to bad consequences. But that's why it's very important to know what your rights are, to know what to do, and if you don't, to always get a good lawyer in that instance. And you know, one thing that happens in a lot of these interactions is that law enforcement knows the average person on the streets is not aware that they can simply say, I don't want to talk about this, or I don't consent to a search, or I don't want to have a conversation, etc. I have the right to silence, or I have no comment. They don't know these things. So when they're asked simple questions, they constantly try to find an answer and end up putting themselves in hot water, as you saw in this case. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.